All right, now it's time to move on to section 11.3. And in section 11.3, we're going to be testing proportions, two population proportions to be specific. All right, so one of these tests can be done with a calculator, and that's the one I'm going to go over. The other one, McNemar's test, is not available in the calculator. That's okay, though. It's a pretty simple test, all things considered. Okay, so here we've got, is there a link between television violence and aggressive behavior by those who watch a lot of TV? Various studies have indicated this premise, etc., etc. Okay, so I'm not going to read it to you. You read it to yourself. But the pièce de résistance here is that we have to test whether there's significant difference in aggression level between those who watch TV and those who did not. All right, so let me go write up my few steps. I'll be right back. Okay, now this is one of the more ghastly, awful test statistics we're going to have to find. But again, the calculator really helps us out a lot with this. So I just copied and pasted it in here, but I want us to notice a couple things. So for us, x1 would be this guy right here. Let me just label it x1 equals this, right? And then n1 is over here, because we're saying that, right, p for a lot, p for a little. So this is x for a little, this is n for a little, right? You can even say that. Matter of fact, let me type that in. There we go. I typed them all in. So x for a little, x for a lot, n for a little, n for a lot. And that will give you your proportions, right? Okay, so we can type kind of those in here into the z statistics. So first of all, p1 hat would be for the little, which is 5 over 88. And then p for a lot, p hat, excuse me, is the sample proportion for a lot. So it was 154 in our sample had aggressive acts out of 619 teenagers total that watched a lot of TV. Now p hat we're going to have to go find. That's 5 plus 80, excuse me, 5 plus 154 over 88 plus 619. There we go. And we can find that with our calculators. Matter of fact, over here, it's 159 divided by, oh, I'll figure that out, 88 plus 619. I'll add that up in parentheses. That way it'll do it perfectly. Divide. There we go. So it's equal to 0.22, 2249. How about that? So let me put that up first. Now, why do I need that? Well, because it gets used in the formula itself, right here. So p hat is 0.2249. 1 minus p hat is 1 minus 0.2249. N1 again was 88, and N2 is 619. And nobody wants to do this thing by hand, right? Right. So we're going to make the calculator do it. You go to Stat, go to Tests, and you want to pick number 6. See right there? 2 proportions, because this is 2 samples, z-test. So pick that. And it's going to ask you what all your values are. So 5, enter. 88, enter. 154, enter. 619, enter. It's a 2-tailed test. So we get on to calculate and press enter. And you can see, hey, look, it gives you p hat right there. P hat is 0.2249. It actually gives you P1 hat. So if you didn't want to write 5 out of 88, you could write 0.0568. And you could write over here, oops, if I could type, oh my goodness, there we go, 0.2488, right? And then it tells you the number when it's all over. It's right here, negative 4.0359. Done. There's your test statistic. It also gives you your p-value, but you'll have to see it right there. It's 5.44 e negative 5, which we all know means 0.1234544. Okay? You are going to reject the null because p, which is 0. is less than your alpha, which was 0.05. Let me type up what that means. Hold on. There we go. Because we rejected the null hypothesis, that means we're coming up with something that's statistically significant, i.e. there is sufficient evidence to support the claim that there is a big difference, significant difference, in aggression percentages for those who watched a lot of TV and those who watched a little. All right, we're done with our hypothesis test. I'm betting an interval will be next.